Hello, world. Um, I'm back with another broadcast. This is Daniel Rucker with True Table. Um, Hope everybody's week is going well. My week has been pretty crazy, which is why I'm mobily broadcasting. But I wanted to keep things going and staying consistent with the weekly broadcast. My apologies about last week, but I'm going to continue to bring this content to you. So here we go. My topic of today is cheating really that bad? And yeah, I can already hear the pins, like the pins dropping. I'm pretty confident that there's some people out there like, what? Like, Daniel, you're not really asking us that, right? Is cheating really that bad? Because everyone knows that any type of relationship content or scandal or things of that nature in reference to relationships, the one thing that people seem to have generally in common is that cheating is this horrific act, and that it is, forbidden on all levels, just not acceptable, no excuses, all of those things. So I'm here to bring my perspective today, and what I hope to get from this particular broadcast is, obviously the title is cheating. It's cheating really that bad. But what I really hope to give you is that more perspective in regards to it, tying into more elements than just the aspect or the act of cheating. So yeah, let's get into it. Is cheating really that bad? So let's start. Now, I constantly have conversations with various people, all different walks of life, male and female, regarding relationships, regarding this topic, regarding things around this topic. And what I have found is that sometimes there seems to be a misrepresentation of relationships. Now, what do I mean by that? What do you mean by that, Daniel? Misrepresentation of relationships, in my opinion, is that the culture that we have seems to now take into account that a dating style relationship or something that is pre-marriage constitutes the same level of significance as marriage. I am here to tell you, dating is not marriage. Having a boyfriend or a girlfriend is not marriage. There is a significant difference between marriage and dating. Significant difference. Now, some may be on the other end of this broadcast saying, well, who are you to tell us that relationships have tiers or have levels, or marriage is not necessarily what it's cracked up to be. It's not 1950, it's not 1960. The divorce rate is, I'm just throwing out random facts, but I'm pretty sure 50 to 60% on average divorce rates nowadays, that people are divorcing at alarming rates. So Daniel, how can you sit here and say that marriage per se is the level that is one of respect per se? Well, I'm not necessarily saying that. What I am saying is that there is a difference between marriage and dating. There's a difference. To understand those differences, you really have to ask yourself the real hard questions and be honest with you as an individual. You have to be honest with what it is that you want. You have to be honest with the person that you're engaging in whatever level of relationship you decide to have. And also, you have to realize that if you are not a married person, then that you're dating. You are still classified single. This is not my standard necessarily. This is judicially the law. Most people, I'm sure, who have listened to or listening to the broadcast, have jobs or some sort of employment, or at one time have had it. And whether it was employment or not, there's things that we as adults tend to fill out from time to time: loan applications, job applications, rental applications, leases, things of that nature. The reason why that becomes relevant is because even in the world that is being an adult in paperwork, they ask your particular marital status, not dating status, not relationship status, marital status. Because in the letter of the law, marriage is a constitution. So anyway, back to the original structure of this show. Is cheating really that bad? That's subjective. A lot of individuals would say, yes, it's horrific. It's selfish. It's inconsiderate. It's damaging. It's, gosh, the list goes on. But what I like to think about is that where is my expectation? If I'm in a relationship, where's my expectation based on the relationship structure I'm existing in? So what do you mean by that, Daniel? I mean that what I observe mostly is that, people seem to take some level of ownership when it comes to deciding to involve themselves in any type of romantic capacity. So dating, for example, if I'm dating someone, getting to know someone, that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm dating them. I'm getting to know them. The amount of time, the amount of energy, the amount of resources, the significance that we decide to place on that relationship is solely based on myself and that individual and what we constitute as important, what we constitute as relevant. However, what I like to do is exercise and understand what type of relationship I really have. I do my best to try to be a great communicator. I do my best to try to have lots and lots of conversations about my perspective or her perspective, shared perspective, differences in opinion, cultural differences, so on and so forth. Because in those talks, what I believe you gain is an understanding of who you're truly dealing with. Now, marriage may not be everybody's goal. That may not be everybody's intent. So if that's not your intent, then to me, it would be kind of unnecessary to structure your relationship that is non-marital as a marriage-based relationship. If you don't believe in the constitution of marriage, then it doesn't make any sense to structure your relationship that is not institutionalized by any means and mimic marriage-like behavior or mimic marriage-like limitations, boundaries. That's a better word, boundaries. Because with marriage, they do have boundaries. Now, I've often said, in a relationship, you should have healthy boundaries, obviously, but relationships and being with someone is not slavery. You as an individual, whether you're the guy, you're the girl, whatever part you play, you do not own that person. You do not own their individualism. A relationship structure is built off of two individuals volunteering their time, energy, resources, and so on to be a part of an interaction, to be a part of creating an experience between those individuals. Now, in the world of dating, it seems that there's this fight to create a significance, and I see it all the time. I see it in aspects of rankings per se. Let's say you meet a girl or a guy and you have a best friend that's been around, let's just say 10 years, and you meet this girl and you meet this guy. And now what seems to happen sometimes in some scenarios is that person who you're now getting to know in a romantic capacity sometimes applies undue pressure or makes claims to your position in their life, and then vice versa, their position in your life, and comparable to your relationship that is platonic, that has been, vetted, that has lasted, that has been created and nurtured. And so individuals at times start to now shift their priorities on who they're going to apply the type of energy and focus and, significance to, because they don't want to lose what they have with their friend, but they also don't want to lose what they have with their new person, their girlfriend or their boyfriend. And what I like to say, is one of my sayings, and you feel free to take it, is that you're pretty much powerless in the event that you're trying to compete with the powerful P's, and that's pussy and penis. Those two P's, it's a hard competition because most people seem to lean towards whoever is given one of the two. If that person is getting some penis, as a friend, you're probably, your competition and what you're providing to them as a friend, in a platonic capacity is, for lack of a better term, limited compared to what, new booty is providing them. That penis is powerful. That pussy is powerful. And that's just my perspective on it. But anyway, back on topic. So I've also often said that, when we talk about the topic at hand, is cheating really that bad? There are relationships that last, that are cultivated, that are not built on proper structure, that are not built on proper foundation. Well, what do you mean by that, Daniel? Sometimes there's destructive internal emotional issues on one party or both parties, where that creates sometimes a dynamic of destructive interaction. That sometimes it's not even about infidelity per se, which I believe infidelity only lasts within the constitution of marriage. You can't be infidel. You can't be an infidel if you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend. Like, it's a different level of a structure. It's somewhat of a casual nature. Now, some people may disagree with me, and that's totally fine. But it is systematically and culturally what it is. If you have a girlfriend, if you have a boyfriend, in order for that relationship to start or end, it's just as simple as agreeing or disagreeing. So if I want to be with you, I agree to be with you. And if I don't want to be with you, I agree to not be with you. That's it. Nothing, no paperwork's filed, no lawyers have to be met. It's not the same level of significance. It just lacks that certain type of punch. I have said that being in a relationship sometimes with a person that does not have your best interest at heart, or someone who's a horrible communicator, someone who tries to infringe on your freedom, which, in my opinion, the thing that you should be looking to always establish in any relationship is great communication, lasting and meaningful memories, and freedom. What do you mean by freedom, Daniel? Freedom, to me, is what every person deserves. Every person on this planet, male or female, young or old, every person deserves a level of freedom. And within even a relationship, there should be certain types of freedom from being an adult, from being a grown person, that is that's permitted from that person just being an adult and being that person. A relationship should not put the certain boundaries on a person that makes them feel enslaved to this choice. Being with a person should have more of an enjoyable component to it. It should be entered into with an openness, and it should still have a lasting freedom component, because as you continue to progress in your relationship with whoever you decide to be with, that person is still them and you are still you. I've said, throughout my talks and different debates that I've had, that I don't believe cheating is the worst thing that you can do. I believe being with someone and knowing that you're not present with that person and not being 100% honest with your intent or your emotional involvement, your ability to want to be a part of that pure connection, can sometimes be constituted, in my opinion, as worse. Being selfish and not really ever sharing of yourself, of your true self, because that's what it's all about, really sharing of who you are. In my opinion, could be worse than cheating. And I can go on and on. What I hope to gain as I continue to give out content is that at times I would like, those listening and, the world as a whole to literally just sit back and think about things in a deeper perspective, take on more ownership, look at yourself and figure out what it is that you want to create, because we're all here to create. So is cheating really that bad? My opinion, no. There's worse things on the planet. There's worse things that exist. There's worse things that are happening to people on a regular basis. Understanding the significance of where your relationship is, understanding what type of relationship you're creating, understanding if you're dating, understanding what comes with dating, how you should be treating it, understanding that if you are married and that seems to be your particular relationship status, how to even navigate that, because it's all an individual journey at the end of the day. You don't have to mimic your relationship based on the Cosbys or, the Wilsons or, whoever. You have to sit back and decide how you want to navigate this thing and navigate your world and navigate your life. I am Daniel Rucker. speaking to you on today on Is Cheating Really That Bad? Thank you guys for your time. My time is about up. Please continue to follow me on Facebook, Instagram. That's Truth Table, TREUTABLE. And like I said, I'll continue to bring content weekly. I want to bring topics that I want to talk about. I also want to bring topics that you guys want to hear me talk about and challenge me a little bit, see what I can potentially give as far as my perspective when it comes to certain things. So this is me signing out. Thank you for your time. Please share the video. When you get a chance, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys next week. Thank you.